Welcome back, everybody. Great to be here with you today. Can't wait to dive into an anti-aging, longevity-based topic that you won't want to miss. Now, I don't know if you've seen this in the news, but literally, like the darling of the anti-aging space, metformin, has really gotten some negative news about all of the health-based repercussions. And now its, cousin, rapamycin, has got even worse results in some human clinical trials, especially with its immunosuppressant-based results. So we have to be really careful looking at these single source, silver bullet based methodologies that we hope holds the answer to being able to live a longer life. So I want to share with you here today is 4 parts to the puzzle. And unfortunately, why most people are looking at the 4th piece and just neglecting how true anti-aging and longevity takes place. Because I want to share with you this, that if you maintain your health today, you have health tomorrow. If you maintain your health tomorrow, which is ultimately today, you have health the next day. Our goal is to get healthy and maintain health while looking for preventative-based issues that may arise. That's the annual blood work. That's the Big 5 at-home lab tests. That's the full-body MRIs, those types of things. That allows us to see what's creeping in. First, get healthy, then maintain. Maintain health today, do the things you need to be healthy tomorrow, and repeat and rinse. That ultimately leads to a longer, healthier life. We'll get to that in just a moment. So what's the issue? Well, the end issue is looking at aging as an actual disease. Okay, we can look at that, but what do we need to then talk about? We need to talk about these zombie cells and senescent cells, and if you've never heard about that before, I'll link up a show on that. They're important, they matter, but really, if we haven't fixed the underlying root cause imbalances in the body, should we really just be pumping the body full of stem cells or doing really far more invasive based therapies? Or even things like, should we be using products that don't actually have a natural base to them? So herbs are natural from nature, vitamins, minerals, natural. Again, you don't want to overdo them and you want to use them when appropriate, but some things that are being given to us are not necessarily part of our human body. Those things may work in the future, but they are not founded today. Specific example as we work backwards. A lot of people are working on increased reactive oxygen species. That means a lot of oxidative stress in the body. And so they're trying to use certain methodologies like hyperbaric oxygen therapy, which, by the way, I'm a believer in. But not if you're not asking how it got there in the first place, right? Like that's what we want to ask about. Inflammation. So they're treating inflammation with pharmaceutical-based drugs to squelch inflammation, or maybe even natural health products. Again, I'm a fan of. I use a product called Inflammasoothe. But are you using that to mask symptoms, or are you using that to buffer natural inflammation as we begin to age? Then there's also telomere loss. So there's telomere-based products that you can use to try to lengthen your telomeres. But again, are you looking at the reasons why your telomeres are shortening in the first place? And that comes back to certain epigenetic changes, the environment that we're in, mitochondrial dysfunction. Okay, so if you find out you have mitochondrial dysfunction because you ran the Candida metabolic and vitamins test, or you looked at another analysis that showed lower mitochondrial output and ATP output, what do? Do you start taking more taurine and creatine, and which again are more normal and great, and I love those products, no issues with them. Citrulline malate, another great one. Betaine anhydrous or trimethylglycine, same thing, right? All of those are great. They can be fantastic. So can PQQ, all the products that we use in a product called Cell Boost, all of them clinically proven to boost your mitochondria. Great. Then there are other products that people like to use, which I'm not as big an advocate for, which is like methylene blue. Electron donor, has some potential pros, but not natural, right? Not something that's necessarily that our body is looking for, besides the other nutrients. But there's different ways to do that. But even at that, even looking at that mitochondria and all the different boosters we can give it, all of those are great to do. And we want the exercise, but have we looked at what causes the further dysfunction from there? So let's look at it. We've got chronic disease and systemic aging. Well, what precedes that is inflammation, oxidative stress in those reactive oxygen species, the ROS, and shorter telomeres and senescent cells, the zombie cells, right? So before chronic disease and systemic aging, we get what I just spoke about, the inflammation, the oxidative stress. Before that, we get mitochondrial dysfunction and we get epigenetic changes. So changes that are going to come from what I'm about to speak on now. Okay, so everything has a layer before it. But the vital layer that almost no one talks about because it's not that interesting, it's not that sexy, to be honest with you, is the actual environment and lifestyle inputs that lead us to where we are today. Now, whenever you hear like healthy lifestyle, I get it. It's totally blah. It means absolutely nothing. I'm with you. But what does it really mean? Well, it's the nutrition you put in your body. Is it an anti-inflammatory diet? It's the exercise that you're doing. Are you over-exercising or are you under-exercising? Because there is a balance for your body. In terms of stress, are you massively stressed or do you have no stress that there's no get up and go in the day? For toxins, have you looked at environmental toxins? Glyphosate? Have you looked at microplastics? Have you looked at mold? Have you looked at heavy metals? Have you looked at different viral issues? These are all toxins that can come into the body and greatly weaken our body and dysfunction our mitochondria, right? So instead of just jumping right to the mitochondria, what caused the mitochondrial dysfunction? Could have been any of the things that I just named. Same with brain-based issues, right? Okay, let's move on. What about emotional-based issues that have never been resolved? The childhood trauma that just eats at you, making you feel guilt and shame, and then you act out in certain ways that you don't even like. Then there's the scientifically backed supplements. As we age, it's no mystery that our epigenetics can change if we don't get enough of our right vitamins and minerals. Not mega doses, but something like the daily foundational protocol that we use in our practice, right? Your vitamins, your minerals, your omega-3s, your vitamin D3, enough zinc, enough of the things that your body needs. And then after that, it's also the mindset. It's the mindset to actually even want to do any of this, to live a healthier, longer life. It always amazes me, and I get it because I was there until 27 years old. People have been asked over and over, do you want to live a long life? No. Do you want to live past normal life expectancy in your 70s? No. I'm always shocked by that. The majority of people don't seem to want to. Why? Because they're at the end range. They're suffering from the chronic disease. They're in pain. They don't have the energy. They have brain fog. Life isn't necessarily worth living. Well, we can change that by our lifestyle inputs, the de-stress protocol that I write about in the Rain Barrel Effect. And by the way, that book is free. Literally, it's free at StephenCabral.com. So I don't want to, and 100%, if there is any money made on Amazon, if you buy it on Amazon, 100% goes to charity. But we have to understand that there is no magic bullet. It's been like my mantra for this last week, and I don't even know why, but it's like, it's important enough to me to continue to repeat it in different ways because people are looking at one single thing that is going to transform their health forever. And I don't ever want to be the bearer of bad news. I hope to be the bearer of hope and somewhat guidance. Having been there myself and having run and running right now the largest integrative health practice globally around the world, testing hundreds of thousands of people each and every year. So here's what I want to share with you. There is no one thing. There most likely will never be a one thing, but that's a good thing. And the reason is that we can focus on the small things that we can do each and every day that allow us to be healthy today. And if we do these healthy diet, exercise, stress reduction, toxin removal, rest, emotional balance, scientifically backed supplements, and mindset, success mindset, and we do those on a daily basis, and we're not perfect, but we get 80% of the way there, and there's 8 things to focus on instead of just one, the good news is we don't have to be perfect. We can get the results we want, and we can age gracefully. We can increase our health span so that we don't have to be on a handful of pharmaceuticals by the time we get into our 50s and 60s. That is not the way that we want to live. I just know that that's not the way that you most likely want to live. You don't want to live in pain and agony and brain fog and just being irritable and overwhelmed and anxious all the time. I get it. I work with people every single day in that mode. So if I can share with you one thing, it's that it's nice. Let's keep our hopes up. Always nice to keep our hopes up for this miracle-based drug. But nature has pretty much given us everything that we need. Now we need to figure out what our deficiencies are, what our toxicities are, live in balance, harmony, equilibrium with ourselves and nature, get some good sleep. And I'm telling you right now, that is the answer most of us often overlook. Thanks so much for tuning into the show. All the show notes will be at StephenCabral.com/3380. And of course, if the show is helpful, do feel free to share it with anyone you believe it could serve. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.